Baytown Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma has just exposed the dark deals that President William Ruto was forced to abide with so that the US government could authorize a $40 million financial gift to Kenya. Take a look.
People of the entire world do not know that the first executive order President Obama signed when he became president was that homosexuality, which they abbreviate as LGBTQ, must be recognized as human rights. At the second point of that executive order, Ken, President Obama mandated that any US organization giving aid, grants, funding to any part of the world must condition such fundings to the beneficiary, whether state or organization or individual, recognizing homosexuality as a human right and promoting it.
The video you have just watched will form the basis of our discussions today. And to put things into perspective, I will further show you a clip of President William Ruto making a public declaration that he would never accept homosexuality anywhere within the Republic of Kenya. Take a look.
Katika taifa letu la Kenya, tuko na mila, tuko na desturi, tunaheshimu katiba yetu, tunaheshimu madini zetu zote. Hatuwezi kwenda barabara ati ya wanawake kuoa wanawake wenzao, ati na wanaume kuoa wanaume wenzao. Hiyo haiwezekani katika taifa letu la Kenya jameni. Yale mambo ambayo yamefanyika kule kotini, hata kama tunaheshimu kotini, lakini desturi, mila, Ukristo wetu, Uislamu wetu hauwezi kuturuhusu mke aoe mke mwenzake ama mwanaume aoe mwanaume mwenzake.
Now, shortly after President William Ruto ascended to the presidency in 2022, he went knocking on the US government's door, and the result was a bag of gifts authorized by a lifelong Democrat, Joe Biden, to the Kenyan president.
Among the major deals which will see Kenya infrastructure improved in a bid to ease congestion include an infrastructure improvement deal to build 440 kilometers expressway which will connect Kenya's capital Nairobi and Mombasa Port City, with 471 billion shillings committed to this project. The United States has committed 642 million shillings, and a prevailing conversation on rates of dollar against the shilling in new funding for Kenya and other East African countries to improve cooperation and coordination in fighting international criminal networks and holding criminals accountable. The two countries also announced 917 million partnership to advance and strengthen the modernization and professionalization of Kenya's National Police Service, largely focused on staff and training development. In fighting corruption, US signed 32.75 million shillings, which will be injected into supporting Kenyan government to combat corruption through global.
What this means is that the President, William Ruto, was forced to accept the so-called democratic law contained in President Obama's first executive order, and the order required that all nations and organizations receiving any form of support or aid from the US government should accept and promote homosexuality. This is exactly the reason why anyone who is pushing hard for ethical and godly family laws must celebrate Donald Trump's victory, because Trump has declared that he will not tolerate same-sex marriages in the US.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago.
Under President Donald Trump, no man will have to struggle to get pregnant, as was the case with the Obama and Biden administrations. No woman will have to worry about making another woman pregnant, as President Obama's executive order had authoritatively desired. And Peter Kaluma knows this quite frankly. Here's the tape.
Reason as to why I'm celebrating Trump, Ken, I've been pushing very hard for laws around the family protection laws. And it has been very difficult, Ken, to do so with the U.S. Democrats in power. The main thing the U.S. Democrats, beginning mainly from President Obama's time, has been doing is to push for homosexuality, what they call LGBTQ, as human rights, abortion. And therefore you saw even the campaign of Kamala. It was a shout about abortion is a fundamental thing. And those are the issues, inconsistent with our matters.
Now elsewhere, a section of Kenyans feel that U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, who had been appointed by President Biden, has been meddling in Kenya's domestic affairs. One particular instance was when she had been caught on camera in the company of IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati on the day on which President William Ruto's election victory was almost certain. Now, some people like Millie Odhiambo, who is a member of parliament, believe that she might have played a part in influencing the outcome of the 2022 general elections in Kenya. And therefore, for this reason, it sits well with Kenyans that the Biden-Kamala administration that appointed her has been sent packing by the Donald Trump victory. Take a look.
I'm not a Trump supporter because he doesn't support the women's agenda, and I'm a very ardent supporter of women. But on the other hand, the reason why I've been torn is because of the role the Americans played in the last elections. So what goes back comes back.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching for the first time, please don't hesitate to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more informative content such as this. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below so that I can have an idea of what your thoughts and opinions about this entire matter is. Cheers.